Alrighty, friends. So, I've been talking a lot today. Okay, my voice is definitely getting pretty exhausted at this point, but you know what? It's okay. It's worth it. It's fine. We'll keep rocking and rolling, and we'll keep just pushing forward. Okay. So, again, a little while ago, we heard big news from the National Basketball Association, right, about regarding the vote coming. It was basically there's only one person who voted no to postpone or suspend the rest of the season, and then I think it was like 27 other people voted to have the season. So that was fantastic news. I was very, very, very happy to share that earlier today. But now, okay, I was doing some reading on my computer. Okay, so now we have more detailed information regarding, what the season will look like, when it will start, when it will end. Okay, so, they officially voted to bring back the season today. Okay, they all agreed, except for that one person that, they would, continue the season with 22 teams left in play, right? Which kind of stinks for the Cleveland Cavaliers because their season was cut short, and this year was their 50th year as a team and as an organization. So that was probably pretty upsetting for them. But I'm sure it's basically going to be like essentially a playoff bracket at this point. So whatever the seeding system was, it basically just probably means that the Cleveland Cavaliers probably didn't make the cut at that point. And so again, 22 teams are left and are still in play for when the season starts back up this year, right? And like they said in the articles that have been getting posted online on the computer, on the internet, that the games will be played down in Orlando. Okay, the great state of Florida, the Sunshine State. I'm a huge fan of Florida myself. I love the Daytona, the Tampa, the Orlando, Miami, all that stuff. So what I would do to be able to go down there right now, right? I would definitely love to take a trip down there. It'd be great to catch a game, right? Especially nowadays, when there's not really much stuff to do. Obviously things are slowly starting back up. But the more stuff to do, the merrier. Whatever I can keep myself busy with, right? And so that's the big thing. Orlando, 22 teams, playoff style bracket, I'm assuming. Okay, I have to fact check that. But the big thing now that we must take note of and we must remember is that from what I saw, it looks like they're going to start playing towards the end of July. Okay, the articles that I read were saying, July 31st start time, roughly speaking. Because I'm sure they have, I would assume they definitely have a lot of details to figure out between now and then. Okay, in terms of just small, nitty gritty details. The fine details of the National Basketball Association, right? So it's good. I mean, it's obviously good news, great news to hear. Whenever I find out new information, I will obviously share it with you all because this is going to be great. Okay, we can watch live sports, no more reruns. Well, I'm sure there will still be reruns. And obviously, this is a note that the sports organizations around the country and, around the globe, due to the fact that the NBA is a global sport, it is a global brand. So this is something that a lot of sports organizations can take note of, right? They can watch what the NBA is doing, what they want to have a concept of a season look like, and obviously they're not playing a full season, right? It's definitely shortened by quite a bit. So it's something that leagues. Shout out to the Major League Baseball, right? Like I keep saying, the MLB, Major League Baseball, has been having a lot of trouble trying to find a way to start or continue. Well, they haven't even been able to play opening day, an opening day game yet, right? They've only been able to play the spring training games. So this is going to be huge for them. I think this essentially puts them on the spotlight. In terms of like, hey, we kind of need to get something going here because, organizations are actually getting to work. They're coming out with deals. They're going to be playing, and this kind of makes us look a little bit bad. Like we're not really doing the same thing. So this is good news that'll really speed things up for other organizations. And yeah, good news all around. Darn motorcycles. Drives me crazy. Speed limit on my road is 30 miles an hour. I'm sure they're going like 50, so that's cool. Whatever rocks their dock. But yeah, so that's good news. So again, I will continue the Boston top Boston sports moments throughout the large Boston sports history. Okay, so today is gonna well, at least this video is gonna be another big one, right? It has to do with baseball. It has to do with the Red Sox, because I love baseball, and I think this moment that I'll be talking about right now really helped bring out the city of Boston throughout this season. And so I really feel that, again, I feel like I'm going to be talking about the 2013 World Series Championship, okay? And I have that placed as number 4 on the top 10 list of Boston moments, okay? And again, I constantly battle myself on how to place and rank these games, right? Because I think they're all such great moments. I think they also be number 1, right? Because any championship within New England is a great championship. It's always exciting. It's always great to watch. But they can't be number 1. You know what I mean? But I really feel like the 2013 season and the 2013 World Series Championship, I just feel like it fits comfortably at the number 4 spot. If you look at the way their season played out, okay, in terms of their record, it was a pretty good year. It was a good year, but obviously nothing extremely crazy in terms of like a crazy amount of wins, right? It was pretty average for a team going to the World Series. Like, you know what I mean? It was pretty much right around the same area that any other World Series championship team would have had at that point in the season. So it was good. But the couple key points that I thought made it, number 4 spot in the Boston history, right? And a couple points that really made essentially that World Series championship really, really, really just quite incredible and really special. Was you got to remember what happened in 2013, right? 2013 was unfortunately a crazy year for Boston because obviously the Boston Marathon bombings happened, right? And that was a really, really big an event for Boston that was really unfortunate, right? It was devastating to us. It was absolutely tragic, and it was very unfortunate that, any event like that has to happen at all. Like, it's just terrible that something like that has to be a thing, especially within our country, within our globe, within our, local communities. And at the time that it happened, I was over in Memphis, Tennessee, on a family trip, because that week was our particular spring break, and we were like, hey, let's utilize it and let's go on a little trip, right? And so as soon as we saw it on the news, I started panicking. I was like, oh my goodness, what do we do? And the Red Sox really helped shape again. This is why I basically preach, sports helps bring communities together. It helps heal communities. It helps foster communities. It helps build communities up. I really strongly believe that sports has such a great impact in that realm of things, right? And I say it all the time, and I will keep saying it for a very, 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 very long time. And that's what the Red Sox did. The Red Sox organization, the Red Sox team, they all looked at each other. They all got together and looked at each other. They're like, hey, look, we need to really help this community out. And so after that event happened, the team did a great job bringing the state of Massachusetts, the Boston community, the surrounding communities, obviously surrounding Boston. They did a great job, bringing everybody together, bringing them to Fenway Park, honoring those who, were a part of the event. And I always think, the biggest thing that I think of, obviously, right, was David Ortiz's speech that he made in the field. That was, very, very touching. And, former President Barack Obama gave him a huge shout out, which is pretty neat to see. So, it's really things like that where it makes you think, sports is a big role in our society, right? It really helps us out quite a bit. And so the organization, the Boston Red Sox organization really knew, okay, we have to take what happened. We really need to turn it into turn such an unfortunate event and turning it around, right? Give it that 180, 180, 360 degree twist, turn it right around, and try to make a positive impact here in the community that so desperately needs it, right? It was such a terrible event, and all we could think about was that, and we needed something to really liven our spirits quite a bit, right? And so they were like, okay, let's get to work. So, throughout the 2013 season, they played, really well. It was really good to see that they, were constantly performing at such a high level and such a great level, right? And went on to the World Series against the St. Louis Cardinals. It was a really good series, too. Fun to watch, a lot of action, pretty much back and forth. And again, like I said earlier today, the first time that the Red Sox won the World Series since the 1900s was in 2004. Okay, so roughly 100 or so years later, after they won the World Series, when they still had Babe Ruth, the baseball player Babe Ruth, way, way, way back in the day, right? And then obviously earlier on today, I was talking about the infamous trade. They call it the curse of the Bambino, okay? And we always talked about how we wanted to reverse the curse, because that, as soon as we made that trade of Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox never won a World Series championship again until 2004. Which is a very, very, very long time, okay? And one of the very, very few teams to have the same kind of curse, Chicago Cubs, the Cubbies. So obviously, we weren't the only ones, but we were one of the very few ones. So we're like, okay, we need to change that. In 2004, we changed that. Won again in 2007. We were in the World Series again in 2013, but at this time, we were like, hey, there has not been, because when we won this World Series in 2004 and 2007, we won. We played the final game of the World Series at the game that we won the actual World Series, right? The game that we actually got the trophy was at the away team's stadium, right? So it wasn't the series wasn't actually won at Fenway Park. We played games at Fenway Park, but we didn't actually win it there. So we're like, okay, we obviously won a couple World Series at this point, but we want to actually win the series at Fenway Park, so that way we're in front of Boston fans, and that Boston fans can be in attendance and actually see us, raise up that trophy in victory, right? And so it just so happens that, guess what? We went through the series, back and forth, and then they came back to Boston. Guess what? We had the opportunity to win the series at Fenway Park, Boston, Massachusetts. And the team was like, hey, look, perfect opportunity right here. Could not have been set up any better, okay? And so what do? Boston and the St. Louis Cardinals came back to Boston. Boston went on to win it. The first time that the World Series was won at Fenway Park in over 100 years. and it was pretty incredible. Okay, it was awesome, and that was, and obviously the Red Sox worked really hard all season to bring the community together, but that was the moment when it was official, right? It was just that was a sweet moment where we were like, okay, victory's ours, victory's won. Everything just kind of came full circle, right? That was that was the moment that the circle was complete, right? The circle was actually a circle and nothing else. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I think it should kind of essentially be number one, right? Because it's essentially like a dream team sort of scenario where anything could have happened. So many things did happen, so many bad things happened, and yet the Red Sox really helped rally the whole city of Boston, really helped rally the whole state of Massachusetts, the whole entire New England area. They really kind of picked us up on their backs, and they were like, hey, no, follow us, like, we'll take care of y'all, right? And it could not have been more of a clutch moment. Out of all the several clutch moments within the Boston history, I think that was really the number one clutch moment. Because again, community. That's why I love sports. That's the reason why I think sports is so great, and that's why I love the industry. That's why I want to go into the industry. I want to, make my life career out of it. Because again, I know I talk about it so much, but I just think it's so powerful to see. So again, that was what I felt. My number 4 moment was what is it with the motorcycles and the loud trucks to him? I don't get it. I don't. I live on a small, very not well-known country road, and yet everybody seems to find it and wants to drive recklessly down it. But anyway, that's not the point. So back to what I was saying. That was my number 4 moment for today. Okay, as you can tell, and I'll continue the number 5 moment later on, either today, tomorrow. Again, we'll see what time allows. But I'm thoroughly enjoying this series. I hope you are too. And if there's a city that y'all want me to talk about in terms of their sports, let me know. Because obviously, being from Boston, I'll talk about Boston forever. But Boston's not the only city in America, so I'm willing to talk about anything. If there's a sports moment you want me to talk about, I'll talk about the Cubs too. The Cubs, great moment right there when they won the World Series, right? So that'd be fun to talk about. So if there's anything you want me to talk about in terms of the sports cities, give me a shout out. Let me know. But until I see you all next, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you to our frontline workers. Y'all are the real heroes. And peace out from the Stady Dream Team.